Okay, what are we shooting here, Eddie?
We're shooting a 1965 Lotus Elan. We did the body and paint to this about 6 years ago now, and went through the engine and overhauled it. And it actually belongs to a lady by the name of Laura here in town, and it was her dad's car. We painted it to look like her fingernail polish, but
oh God!
But
you know, you talk about fluky reasons to paint a car.
She wanted it to match her fingernail polish, and so I think we did a pretty good job of that. She drives the heck out of this thing. It's a good little car, and it's back for brakes right now, though.
Okay. Hey, as long as we got the Suga right here, let's shoot that. This thing is a monster.
This is a 1957 Volvo radio command vehicle for the Swedish military.
Right.
The gentleman that had us restore this was a graduate of the University of Iowa, right. And he wanted to build the ultimate tailgating vehicle.
And I think he did that because, you know, here's another one that I saw early on, and he owns 3 of these.
He owns 3 of these.
And this thing early on, it looked like a pile of crap.
It was pretty rough.
It
was drugged out of a barn from Sweden, and it was in rough shape. It had been rolled onto both sides. There was a lot of rot in it and stuff like that. But the owner loved these vehicles, and I can kind of see why now. They're kind of unique and a little wild. But we actually took and put a 572 big block in it. Had custom 22-inch wheels made. Inside there's actually 3 TVs. There's a touchscreen navigation unit in the dash, there's a 27-inch flat screen in the back seat, and there's a 27-inch flat screen in the trunk. And all those are actually hooked up to a satellite dish, also flush mounted from the bottom side of the hood.
I always like these military vehicles with the gas cans on the outside too.
Yeah.
So that is that like their spare tank?
Yeah, that would originally be the spare tank, but due to the fact we made this into a tailgating vehicle, as we come around the back, you can see this gas cans actually fold open and are now speakers.
I'm going to see how we can get back here. They flip out?
Yep, they flip out, and
flip out.
I'm actually able to put them back in.
Okay.
And actually strap them up, or they can stay open like that.
I'm gonna stick you inside. They don't have the TV on right now, but there's a TV. That's a TV right there.
Yep.
So I can stand out here, drink beer in the sun at my tailgate party.
Watch the pregame.
And watch the pregame.
Play a little bit of Wii or PlayStation 3 if you like. And actually pan down a second, and where the spare tire used to be.
This is where I don't know whose idea was this.
This was probably a collaboration of the shop, but we had to get a cooler built in somehow.
See, this is the beer drinking guys in the shop thinking. This is what we call thinking.
So this cooler actually slides in and out, allowing you to hide your beer if your unwanted friends are around.
Oh yeah, you don't want too many bums hanging out with you. But when I saw the built-in cooler in this thing, I thought, oh my, what a nice touch.
Can't go without a cooler when you're tailgating. Multiple
No.
TVs are good, but you gotta have the beer room.
Yeah, right on. All right, let's go over your dad's.
All right.
Tell me about this.
All right, since we can't get him over here, I'll explain a little bit about this. But like I said, my dad just sold his last hot rod project, was in need to start something a little bit new and unique.
Right.
So he wanted to build something that no one's really built before. And in the 50s and 60s, kids would take fuel tanks off of airplanes, drop tanks, and make little race cars out of them. Well, he's always liked that, but he wanted to be able to have a passenger in it. So he actually found this airplane fuel tank off of a Constellation. It would be actually a Super Constellation. It's a 700-gallon fuel tank, and we're going to make a 2-passenger belly tank out of this.
Right.
We built a custom chassis for it, custom front axle. The unique part is the driver's actually going to drive from the back seat, kind of like a vintage Stearman or a vintage airplane. We've set it up so that the passenger's front seat sets about 4 inches lower and leans backwards, so the front passenger can kind of just barely see out the window, and the back guy can actually see over their head and see what's going on.
I'm going to walk in front of the camera because I got to get this part that your dad showed me.
All right. We've taken a section of the aluminum that we've actually cut out and did a little test polish on it. And when this whole vehicle's done, it's going to be all polished aluminum, super shiny, and everything that will be steel will be painted silver to match the rims.
So there's basically very little paint that's going to go on.
Yeah, the chassis, the interior, the rims, the headlights and taillights, about all that will be painted. Everything else on the entire car will be polished, and maybe some decal on the side or some emblems painted onto the side.
Well,
but
I don't know if your dad's going to appreciate me saying this, but it's going to look like an Airstream Bullet going down.
It is. It's going to look like a Bullet driving down the street.
Driving down the street. Okay. Let's take a run into the shop for a second.
All right, we'll get into the side of the shop where a little bit of the dirty work goes on.
This is another room totally.
This is where we kind of hang out a lot. This is the side of the shop that a lot of the metal fabrication, the body, the priming, the block sanding, all the hard, tough hours go into.
What am I looking at here?
You're looking at a collaboration of parts, actually. The body tub sitting over there is actually a 1969 Toyota Land Cruiser body that's in the process of a restoration. The frame's underneath the tarp over to the right of it a little bit.
Okay.
Then all these black primed parts that you're seeing, those are doors and fenders off a 1957 Chevy convertible that we're in the middle of restoration on. Okay. Which is over here to your left.
Okay, so we see some of your tools here.
Yeah, some welders and some other stuff. And
sure. All right, what's this car over here?
That's a 57 Chevy convertible.
Okay.
And it's completely stripped down. It's about to its final stages of primer, and it's going to be getting shot in black paint here in the next couple weeks. It looks far away, but it's actually been together and apart probably 15 to 20 times already.
That's something you guys always fool me on. I think it's like going to come happen next year, and I come back, you know, my next oil change in 3,000 miles, and the thing is like brand new, or else it's already gone and out the door.
Yeah, we try to take our turnaround time and cut it down as much as we can. That people get a little anxious that when their cars are starting to get close to being done. So, and we even occasionally work on a motorcycle here or there. We have a 1965 Honda Dream.
I saw this one too. Yeah, this was kind of a rust bucket coming in.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. That's the main chassis to a 1965 Honda Dream.
How big? How many cc's?
That's 305, I believe.
Okay.
And we're just doing a minor restoration on it. It was a good running mechanically engine, but the body and paint was bad on it, so we stripped it down. We're going to go through, gasket the engine, and paint it jet black now.
Okay, now tell me what this thing is. Is this going to stay this little?
This is going to stay this little. Setting on top of it is the roof of the Land Cruiser right now, but this actually belongs to one of my painters, and this is a 1928 Chrysler two-door sedan, done kind of rat rod or nostalgia hot rod style, kind of like my primer black one up front.
Is it going to have a roof?
It'll eventually have a roof. He's got to fabricate it by hand.
Okay.
Because originally it was cloth or a vinyl roof, and
really?
Yeah, they would have been wood bowed, and he wants to have a steel one. So, but it's chopped and channeled and sectioned and airbagged, and it's he's a little bit of an odd duckling, and he's running a Mercedes diesel in it. But I think it ought to be pretty fun.
Wow. You know, that was something your dad told me years ago. It's with the hot rod business, you get to cut it up and do anything you want.
Anything you want is possible.
It's fair game.
Yep.
And there are times you want to restore it as close to original as possible.
Yeah, the cars that are really rare and really valuable are the cars that I have a hard time cutting up. But the cars that there was a lot of them produced and different things, I don't mind cutting up. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing us around the shop.
Not a problem. Thank you.